What's up, guys? I'm going to be doing some more testing on this inline heater, but today I'm going to be turning things up a little bit. I want to try and see some 300 degree oil coming out of this thing. It's probably not a good idea. Probably going to destroy some components today, but that's okay. Okay, so here we are at the test. If any of you guys have information on waste oil burners, like some good technical data on the actual temperature that is ideal for commercial units of the actual waste oil burners, I'm just curious. They've done a lot of research, so they would know a lot more than me, and I don't think 300 degrees is necessary, but that's what I'm going to shoot for today. I have a watt meter in place, the triac that will be controlling the light bulb, the halogen bulb, and the thermocouple is fired up, ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing on to a flow rate of 4.2 liters, because that's right around the area where one of the machines I have works at pretty good at 100 psi. That's the flow rate. So I'm going to turn this on. Oil is going to start to flow at that rate, and I'm going to turn up the rheostat, or this is a triac, not a rheostat. Not that I know there's an actual difference, but this is a router speed controller is all this is. It costs about $15 at Harbor Freight. And my watt meter also came from Harbor Freight. That's about 30 bucks. Some things ain't cheap. So here we go. I'm going to start the oil flow. See, I've got it set as close to that 4.2 as I can possibly get it. I mean, it's such a minute amount, but that's what the flow looks like. That's the current temperature of the oil. And we're turning this bad boy on. I'm going to take it right up to 200 watts right away, because I know last time that got us about 200 degree oil. We'll see if that persists. Definitely a super cool little device. I need to grab the thermal gun as well. Heating up pretty quick. Hopefully this pot doesn't get full. Oh yeah, that's got some warmth to it. I'm gonna grab my thermal gun. And I apologize for my lack of camera skills. People have mentioned I get them dizzy. I want to be able to move the camera and get you guys in on the action, so I don't like the mounts. A lot of the stuff I do, you kind of want to be looking directly at. Like, what good is this with this setup? I could do like an Abbey style setup and just be over the bench, but then I don't like doing the hands thing with the camera in my grill. So I kind of lied about turning things up, didn't I? 200 watts. We've already done 200 watts. Why are we bothering? I guess the chamber itself just needs to heat up. Oh yeah, that sucker is hot. So I'm gonna let it even out and see if it does do the 200 degrees, because it'd be kind of nice to have some type of calibration in mind with this thing. It's real hard to keep it right at 200. Enough to scare the living hell right out of you. We're starting to see some of that boiling activity. The temperature is steadily increasing at 200 watts. Starting to smell oil. That's not what we came here to see. Okay, I need to shut off this alarm. I'm going to get it to 300 here, the 200 watts there. We'll say 300. The flash point of this oil right now is 305 degrees, I can tell you that. So why don't we just set it at 305? I know that because I sent this oil off to Blackstone Labs. So we're going to increase the wattage now. Let's try 250 watts and see what happens. That might be way too much. Kind of afraid to do that. That's like 5 more soldering irons of power. So things are definitely heating up. We're not seeing that boiling we saw last time, and I think it's because I had some gas in that oil, fellas. We were seeing the outgassing, and it also had some gasoline in there that was probably boiling inside the reactor. I can feel the heat kicking off of this baby. So according to Blackstone Labs, the flash point of this waste oil is 305 degrees. I could confirm that with a document, but I don't have time at the moment. If you've seen any of my videos in the past, I have noted that about this oil. So at 260 watts is kind of where we're hovering right there, and it's not giving me the 300 degrees. We're kind of just hovering here slowly. That does look about like the, now the flow rate's going to change most likely due to this. I don't hear any cracking or anything. I'm going to go ahead and turn this sucker up. The paint's starting to stink a little bit. That's high temp paint, so jeez, man. So 300 watts should technically give us 300 degrees based on our last observation. I'm having trouble dialing this in, is why you're watching me stand here stare at this thing. I'm just showing you that I'm just gently tweaking the knob there. So that's pretty close. We are really starting to rise in temperature. No strange flow patterns like we seen last time with that odd boiling effect. Now there is some outgassing bubbles there, but nothing like last time. Our oil's getting up to 273. I'm really starting to smell the paint on this sucker. This is incredibly hot. I don't know the effects of the copper touching the light bulb either. This thing may be very short-lived because of the design flaw of the bulb itself actually touching that copper. That's quartz, so it may react in some strange way. We're still hovering right around 300 watts of input. We seem to be stabilized at 275 degrees. Incredible amount of heat. Yeah, it's stabilized. Okay, we didn't come here to stabilize. Uh-oh, wait, as soon as I said that, it jumped. Still flowing just fine, no erratic behavior. I'm gonna crank it up a little bit. Let's go to 320. Keep it simple. Ooh, it ain't liking that. There's like a jump in the triac here. Let's go to 325. What's the point of this 320 nonsense when we're nowhere near? Oh shit. Better turn that way down. We're hitting 300. We are at 305 any second here. I'm about ready to shut it down because I'm worried. Yep, it's starting to smoke. Look at that. That oil is smoking, guys. And the temperature is steadily rising here. So I'm going to bring the temperature or the wattage down to 275. It's steadily increasing in temperature. That is so cool that that started to smoke right at the 305. Just like they said at Blackstone Labs on their report. I'm not losing any temperature. It appears my wattage is just way too high. I'm taking it back down to 250. I think I got a little impatient is what happened. Ooh, wait, there we go. We're dropping now. Cooling off big time. I better take it back to 275 or 280. Whoa. Uh-oh. Something's going on with my light bulb. It just went out on me for a second, like my terminals are starting to dog out on me. And I was expecting that. Something just happened. So the terminals are taking a beating. We're hovering at 297 degrees, well, 300. It may climb again. The smoking has stopped, true to form. I don't know if you guys got to catch any of that vapor action. We are heating up though. We're hovering around 280 watts. We have hit 305, so apparently I'm gonna take it down to 250 and see where it zeroes out there. Because to be honest, I don't want to stress this bulb any more than I have to. I heard strange cracking and ticking noises coming from this thing. That'd make a good picture right there. This is probably what you're going to see on the thumbnail, fellas. So yeah, man, 250 watts is right around your target wattage, which should be generally, should be kind of a little too much. That's all I do is calibrate stuff, I swear. All day I'm calibrating pumps and light bulbs, and I'm not going to rebuild this thing until I get my hydrogen torch fixed. I hate building stuff without an HHO torch. Once you get one of those things in your life, you'll never be the same without it. I can build so quick and so easily with them. Okay, so we're down to 200. Wattage is jumping wildly, and I would imagine that may have something to do with the triac, or the terminals are spazzing out on me a little bit. Get some strange outgas behavior in the stream. I wouldn't dare touch this thing. Oh yeah, that is hot, guys. So I'm having trouble getting it to 245. It's just jumping around so wildly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit the 305 specifically. I'm losing temperature at this point. I'll try 255 here. Another thing that could be happening is some buildup could be taking place already due to the extreme heat of that inner tube. As I said, that's just a single inner tube. There are no heat fins on that tube, and I regret not doing that. We're at 252 watts and we're losing. Nope, we're gaining again. We were heading in the wrong direction there for a while. It just takes a while to stabilize at those specific temperatures. Okay, watch the smoke here. Hold on, you're not there yet. I'll tell you when it hits 305, it's stuck at 304 right in the middle of an example. Imagine that. And it dropped to 302. I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to try 255 on the watts then. We'll just jump down a degree. It's acting wild. I'm getting some bubbling now. That's not cool. You can just start to see smoke when it gets to that point. I don't think the camera's picking it up. It's a slight smoking. So 255, well, we're at 260 again. I can't keep it on 255. At any rate, we know 250 is a real good temp. And it's not boiling oil on us. So this bad boy may just win the day. That is just too cool. Yeah, it's not going to go back down. I can't imagine how easily this stuff burns. I'm half tempted to shoot the torch in that pot. It's probably cooled down too much to matter, but you know what the hell, you only live once, right? It definitely tries to light up a little bit there. I tried, guys. Nothing cool happened. We're getting some smoke out of there now, though. At 309, it really starts to smoke. I don't think I like that temperature, though. So apparently the 250 range is really what we're looking for, I guess. I just can't get it dialed in. Something's going on with my terminals, maybe. Getting really hot. It's not cooling down. Man, it keeps jumping back up to 260. The hell? We should start seeing some temperature drop here. And it goes up. The hell? Maybe my flow rate's changing on me. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the flow rate up a second and cool this bad boy off. Here, let's do 6 liters an hour. That cooled it right off. That's a huge flow rate though. Turn it back down to my 4. I just wanted to cool that off for a second because things were getting a little out of hand. Trying to keep you out of a parallax error zone. My camera's all. So that's right about the 4.2 liters. 43,000 to 46,000 watts of energy pouring out of that nozzle right there, guys. 36 megajoules times 4. Man, I'm so not doing that math in my head right now. So, it does take time to heat the oil up. So what I'm seeing here is in an actual, in the field design would have a bypass valve that would maybe let you heat the oil, get the rig heated up so you're not just spitting cold oil into the system. So a bypass valve would probably be in order here. Just a T valve or something. Put a T right here with a valve sticking off the side so we can flow the cool oil out. Because at 250, which was pretty much our target wattage for the 300 degrees, it climbs really slow. It's almost like it's just never going to get there. So I'm going to do a surge on this bad boy. I wonder what 500 watts looks like. That's probably going to damage stuff. Man, I hate when I tear up cool stuff I build. That's at 500 watts. So they pretty much hit it on the head when they rated this light bulb. That is super. Oh shit. It's getting way too hot, way too quick. That started boiling some oil. So that's one route. You can do a super heat up, which that did work. I got it heated up pretty doggone quick. Put it back to, well, we was at 250, wasn't we? Alright guys, so in conclusion, we have seen that a device this small can in fact produce the flash point temperatures that we need to see at the flow rates that are commonly used on waste oil burners that power things like forges and smelters, whatever you want to call them. Things like that. As far as redesigning this, I do intend to run it through a couple of things. I'm going to run a couple of tanks of oil through this thing on the setting that I'm going to be running it at. And then we're going to take this thing apart and look at the inside and see how much tarnishing and stuff like that, varnishing, I mean, how much varnishing is taking place. Because varnish is a huge issue. So I do know that I want to put cooling fins in there too, or heating fins on that inner tube as well. So we would have something like, man, I can't find a pin for nothing here. So that inner tube right now is basically just a copper pipe slid through another pipe like this. And it's just a tube with a light bulb in the middle of it. So if we take and we put some cooling or some heating fins on here on the inside and have them sticking out in every direction, then that will significantly increase the effectiveness of this little module to the degree that we might not even need to run it those high of a wattage. I am very concerned with my bulb because these electrodes are just homemade in a hurry. I'll probably end up actually just buying a halogen lamp and gutting it for the electrodes, because those are pretty sure to carburize out and burn out. Copper turns black when it gets too hot, and I'm pretty sure this thing's going to be seeing some pretty high temperatures. So that's where we are with this experiment. I'm going to run a couple of tanks of oil through it. Next time you see this thing in a video, we're going to be taking it apart and seeing what happened inside of there, how much buildup. And another YouTuber mentioned the idea of buying a hot water heater element and just screwing that into some pipe fittings and stuff, which is a pretty good idea. I may look into that as well. I was personally concerned about the heating element getting a little bit hotter than it was designed to in that application. And Bakelite plastic can only withstand 450 degrees before it starts to degrade. So I would imagine if you're heating something up to 300 degrees, the heating element itself is probably going to have to hit 450. So that's one concern I have with that idea. But other than that, the halogen bulb is working amazing, very easy to control, and very cheap. We're looking at like $2 for that heating element there. So that's where we're at. I'm shutting up. I'm going to post this for now. And like I said, next time we see this thing, it will have had at least 3 tanks of this oil pump through it at 305 degrees. And we're going to take it apart and examine the damages, just like they do at NASA. That's one of the coolest things about building stuff, actually, is taking it apart and seeing what's happened inside. Kind of like with this oxyhydrogen torch build. This thing ran for like 5 years and I was expecting the worst. And those plates were actually really clean. So now I know that next time I put that torch back together, I'm probably never going to take it apart again. If it was that clean after 5 years, my practice of alternating the poles to blast off all the anode gunk by turning it into a cathode periodically has definitely paid off. But that's it, guys. The inline heater is a success. It heats the oil up to the temperatures we want with some power to spare. We're only hitting 250 watts to hit that target temperature, and this is a 500 watt bulb, so it actually works, and it is very tiny and very compact. So I'm definitely liking it.